And yes, as you can see, as of course, if you haven't logged into Han today, you haven't noticed for yourself, but with this patch today, well, there's a couple things, but the main thing, Halloween is here, baby. We got the Halloween patch, and as always in the past, it's been a lot of fun, and I think it's a lot of the similar things this time around. I don't know if they added anything new, but hey, it's always fun to go through the holidays like this.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And there's actually a bunch of notable patch notes, too, and additional heroes that have been added. They are not usable in this tournament, but they've still been added to competitive play. We'll talk a little bit more about that maybe in between games or when we have some downtime. But right now, blind bands have begun. Ophelia and Wild Soul coming out from Legion, and Ophelia and Fade coming out from the Hellborn side. So Legion does not want to deal with either of those powerful junglers, a.k.a. Wild Soul and Ophelia. Of course, you can run Wild Soul as a suicide laner, arguably the strongest, in my opinion, the strongest hero in the game. But we'll see what they decide to lock here now.
Yeah, of course, going to be going with their first lock, Emperor, taking a lot of time even to choose their actual first lock here. So, again, while we have these slow moments, you brought up a great point. The patch today, obviously I'm making a little bit of a joke about the Halloween factor, but more importantly, 6 new heroes and 2 new items were added to tournament mode. Now, as you stated, they are still banned by the tournament for this event.
Right.
So, yes, those 6 new heroes and the 2 new items, they are out now for tournament mode, but still they are not eligible for this event. They will be eligible starting with Han Tour, however. So just to clarify on that, for those that may have been curious, again, those 6 different heroes, 2 new items, that may change some things. I know you specifically have your input on a couple of those, but again, maybe we'll talk about that in between the games more fully. But for here, the locking phase continuing, we got Kinesis, the first lock in. With any other team, you'd be scratching your head, but not with the returners. Jeppins has proven to play great Kinesis. So Kinesis the first lock, Keeper the Force, and Tempest as the follow-ups from TteS Sports.
Those are very signature locks, I should say, from either side. Yeah, Kinesis being played by Jeppins. He really does utilize that hero very effectively. The burst potential from it is just so high. And then Keeper and Tempest, both from TteS Sports, those are really comfortable heroes for them. They would run either in the jungle, they'll run either in a suicide, so it's very safe for them.
Yeah, definitely signature heroes indeed coming out here between these two teams. Tundra, the follow-up lock, of course, coming out from the returners, not a big surprise there. Still, as always, plenty of options, just a matter of what Emperor decides to go with. And, you know, I will say, as much as I love Emperor, and I've made that point many times, of course, just a fun player to watch in general, especially when he's in that picking role. I mean, his lineups definitely are very diverse and some different things. There has been some criticism lately of him, you know, perhaps going a little bit too off the wall, and, you know, maybe he should stick with more of the what is considered to be the meta game and stick with more typical strategies, as we see a Zephyr lock there actually coming out. Is that something you can agree with, or are you fine with him, you know, doing his own thing?
I think specifically it's the Cthulhu font. Yes, you think of Cthulhu font when you think of Emperor or Bryce, and I honestly just, I mean, he can utilize it effectively sometimes, but I just really think that it's not that strong of a pick, in my opinion. I think he's a much better laner, but we never see him lane anymore because we just simply see hard carry strats now. It just doesn't work out. So I think, yeah, to some extent that's true, but when you also think of the other heroes he likes to draft, like Warbeast, I love Warbeast. I think Warbeast is super strong. And in fact, the couple games we casted with the returners against, I believe it was Q Squad, they banned Warbeast, blind banned him, both games. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. So. Speaking of bans, we are going to go to the first ban here. Of course, again, it's interesting with that blind ban phase. Only 3 heroes actually being banned. Not too often you see that, but there is a chance that it can happen, of course, being the blind bans after all. But yeah, Pebbles, the final lock here for TteS Sports. Definitely a strong lock pool, especially coming out for TteS Sports. There are 3 heroes, Keeper, Tempest, and Pebbles. But you got Tundra, Zephyr, and Kinesis on top of that. Forsaken Archer, actually going to be the first ban coming out for Emperor. So you look at that and you think, well, they are playing against Slicks and, you know, this TteS Sports team, and they do like their Forsaken Archer, but there are also plenty of other carry options out there, so we'll see.
It's like a comfort here for TteS Sports. You know, we've seen time and time again where there'll be heroes like Draconis unbanned, Magebane unbanned, Silhouette unbanned, and Dark Lady unbanned. In fact, those are all unbanned right now. But you'll still see Slicks pick Forsaken Archer. It's just one of those heroes that he goes to and plays it well. There's the Warbeast ban from Slicks. There's Jeraziah ban from Emperor. Of course, we see Jeraziah banned quite frequently.
Yeah, speaking of comfort bans, the Warbeast ban by Slicks, as you were even talking about just a couple seconds ago. Of course, with Emperor, definitely a fantastic Warbeast player, and that definitely makes it work. So 3 bans out of the way, 3 more to go in total. We're waiting on TteS Sports, their second out of 3 bands themselves. So we'll see what ultimately is. Already using a bit of extra time, mind you. As well, the Legion team at least, the returners, they're already down to 33 seconds of extra time. Usually doesn't go that low this early on, but using quite a bit, and you see TT Esports now using some of theirs as well. So definitely a lot of thinking going on, and you know, again, it goes to show you that obviously there is a lot on the line here in this event. Those 3 invites to DreamHack Winter 2012, as well as that $4,000 travel stipend to help get you there. Yeah, it's going to be a big deal, and of course, there's not too many details released just yet of the actual DreamHack Winter event, but let's just say I'm fairly confident it's going to be pretty damn big. So, Dark Lady is going to be the next band from TT Esports. One more band to go. There we go with Draconis. So the carries are being banned out here by both of these teams, really. Now, the final band for TT Esports, you still got Mage Band and Silhouette on the board, but there's also plenty of other powerful options. A lot of Suicide, a lot of support option as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's a Glacius, there's a Luna. There's still that Mage Bane and Silhouette, and you got great Suicides left in Bubbles. Of course, I talked about earlier how TT Esports loves to run both Keeper or the Tempest as a jungle, and in fact, they locked both of them, and they are second pick. So if you do have a first pick from the returner, something like, say, Tundra, which is a very clear first pick for them, or it could be. You can easily pick up both Tempest and Keeper, and you're going to have a jungle, and you're going to have a Suicide. And either one can take either role. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's usually you were used to be just really the Tempest, but we did start seeing more Keeper the Force actually Suicide roll and definitely do very well. So you're right. I mean, it's crazy versatility there with those 2 heroes. They can run it either or definitely. So we'll see if that happens to be the case. But now the first regular pick going to be coming up here from Emperor for the returners. And as you mentioned, plenty of strong options are on the board. And Nymphora ended up being the last regular band there, by the way, as instead of, you know, maybe something like the Luna Glaciers. And well, there you go. Luna is going to be the first pick here for the returners. So strong support off the bat.
Yeah, it's a really strong support, and I kind of do favor Luna a little bit more than Glacius, especially when Ophelia is just out of the picture, which she is because she's banned. And that's a strong. I mean, even if you mentioned, of course, stats don't lie. In the last tournament, we saw Luna had a very, very high win percentage, much higher actually than Glacius, which were both picked the same number of times. We got a snap pick, really, of Silhouette Engineer coming out from TT Esports. So I suspect, actually, that Silhouette in that short lane, and we've seen a lot of Engineer Magma specifically coming out from TT Esports, so I wonder if we'll see that again. Yeah,
that's definitely the first thing that came to my mind as well when you see those first 2 picks. So also, I'm sure Emperor perhaps has a similar idea. Maybe that means they want to go for Magnus themselves, maybe take away a little bit there of that synergy. They are going to go with Magebane, though, as their character choice, so we do have a good old Magebane versus Silhouette here, but Witchslayer is actually going to be their third and final regular pick here. Again, wouldn't be too surprised to see TT Esports go with that Magnus pick, but we'll see in the end. There you go. It is going to be Magnus, and now that even sets up that Keeper Tempest combination as well. I guess not even necessarily more likely, but still, it's a very, very possible situation here for them. So we'll see what Emperor does for their team.
Yeah, I definitely expect both Keeper and Tempest to be picked up from TT Esports. They're going to have a Magnus Engineer mid, Silhouette solo short top, and then probably a Suicide Keeper and a farming Tempest in the jungle. I think Tempest is much more effective farming in the jungle than a Keeper. Of course, both can farm fast, but Keeper seems to succeed a little bit better in that Suicide role than Tempest. Yeah. Now, the first pick coming out from Complexity, they already have a Witchslayer, so that kind of shows their mid. I would not be surprised. In fact, I really think that they should maybe pick one of those junglers, especially considering the fact that TT Sports loves to run both. I think either one would be fine here. In fact, I think Keeper would be their best bet, seeing how Tempest is on the board, and Keeper really does counter Tempest. But they're going to go with the Tempest. I think Keeper would have been much stronger. And look at the snap picks coming out right there. Wow. Keeper and Pebbles. So kind of interesting. We might even see a tri-lane now with Pebbles, Magnus, Engineer, Silhouette mid, Keeper of the Forest in that long lane. But we'll wait and see. Kinesis, of course, is the last pick for Jeppins, probably going to be in that Suicide lane. Yeah, and again, as we've seen, Jeppins has proven that he can play that hero not only well, but even in the Suicide role, the one game that we did actually see them when he did that. So, yeah, but you look at TT Esports, that is a scary lineup themselves. Slurx is going to be on the Silhouette. You got Moravis, plays a great Pebbles himself. But yeah, that is interesting, though, because of that change up there. Do you think we're actually going to see a trail lane here coming out? I think so. The other way you could do it is you could just go, say, Pebbles and... Or no, you know what we're probably going to see? We're probably going to see a Magnus... no, we're not going to see that because, okay, the things are a little bit different than what they do. We're probably going to see, like, say, an Engineer Pebbles, I want to say, and then a Magnus Silhouette top. Okay, they're already running there. I'm not even looking, but yeah, that's probably what they're going to do.
Okay.
And then they can roam Engineer top if they need to, which they probably don't because it's a Suicide Kinesis. And that means, yes, of course, it's going to be that Suicide Keeper of the Forest. He's going to be up against a number of people here down in the Legion side. It's going to be a Luna and that Magebane. And Keeper of the Forest, if he's one of those heroes that can still get lots of experience using that Invis. So until they get those sentries up, or until they get that dust, which is a lot of gold to spend on trying to kill a Keeper who's probably not going to die from it anyway.
Oh, Juppins. You went a little bit too far. Can Magnus get close enough? I don't believe he can. Wow, that was really close right there. Another step or two. He would have been close enough for that Lava Surge stun, and that could have started a train of not some good things for him. So Juppins, thankfully for his sake, was just out of range, and he is going to be fine in the end. He wanted to get the Water Sight down, but clearly TteS Esports was not going to let him. On the other hand, Riser was able to get his own Water Sight down, so that is some good news there coming out for the Hellborn team, actually.
Yeah, he got the ward off, and that's really important. And that's really bad for the returners. They're really going to need to utilize that pull against a Suicide hero like this. And in fact, he's still going to use these trees, as you see, to pull the wave for him. And if they're able to kill these, then that's great, but if they're not, he's going to get free lane control against a Magebane, and that is not good.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why Keeper has been so popular lately. Not just his ability to invis himself and be okay in that regard, but because he can get the lane back similar to how a Wild Soul works.
Yeah. Of course, Angry Testy is going to be playing this Magebane again on day 9 the fish, but that is definitely Angry Testy. Very, very certain of. But here we go with that creep pull, as you said, and it doesn't look like it's going to be stopped here by Luna. I mean, she's going to try to go around and maybe cut it off, but the trees are just too strong. I mean, they just have way too much life, a decent amount of armor early on, and they're going to easily take the damage. And yeah, so as you said, Keeper of the Forest being played by Riser should have the pretty solid lane control. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, which they're going to probably drop right here. Puts out a Graveyard Stun, trying to survive, but not going to happen. Why Talaba on Engineer picks up the Bloodlust kill. I happened to catch that about halfway through, probably, and I'm not even sure. I mean, it just seemed like Pebbles was able to get off of Stalagmites, good kicks on top of that, and set up a fairly easy kill, even on a Witch Slayer right there.
You got to be a lot more careful. You're very, very squishy as a Witch Slayer level 1, and their spells will do a lot of damage. And of course, when you look at Pebbles, if you get that stun combination off, and he's pummeling auto attacks into you, they're 73 max damage every single time. And so the level 1 ganks with Pebbles are much more viable than any other hero, and especially when it's on a Witch Slayer who's so squishy. But right now, things not looking so good. Even this early of a start for returners, just the fact that Keeper of the Forest got the lane control, got some levels, and it's going to give him some free reign down here to get levels and farm.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not going to be anything crazy, but against this lane, it's really good. And when you look at Juppins, it's going to be a matter of how much can Juppins get up here. They didn't get the ward off in time. It is a little bit late. So actually, this was a single pull by Magnus. If he's able to pull this other camp, no, he's going to be late, actually. So that's kind of unfortunate. Not the smartest play by Leon Blatt, because that's going to give a double wave, if you see. That's exactly what you don't want.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, he pulled it for some reason, but that's going to be good experience for Juppins.
Yeah, and he already is level 2,
All
so
mid.
we'll see if he can get that. But the mid lane, as you're talking about, it looks like Witch Slayer was able to avoid a little bit right there, especially that turret, and turns around the graveyard and eventually fights it off. At the bottom lane, a little bit of harassment again on the Keeper of Force, as you would expect from a Luna, but she's level 3, and she's using those trees to get maybe a little bit of farm here and there. But yeah, clearly Emperor here on this Witcher in the middle lane is running into some trouble against this Engineer Pebbles combo. It definitely has potential to be very, very deadly, as we even already saw with that Bloodlust kill, of course. Oh yeah, by the way, with this Halloween patch, we do see the runes spawning as M&Ms and whatnot, so the regen rune right there. The wards are also candles, you may notice. There's pumpkin heads on the soldiers, so yeah, just some fun things to look at. And of course, Kongor is Kongor Mutenstein or something like that. Anyways, Witch Slayer able to avoid Engineer coming in from the flank. Top lane, Kinesis all the way in between the two towers, as Silhouette and Magnus are also here, so it's almost as if they don't even care. The initial tower is here, but they're going to start taking a little bit of damage down at the tower.
Yeah, it's because they had that massive double wave that spawned because of Leon Black pulling it only as a single wave. And they were playing really, really aggressive, and they can, I think, at this early stage because no one really has ports this early on. But if they did that, say, in like another 2 minutes or so, that could be deadly.
Yeah.
So I got to watch that. But yeah, if they're not able to get enough good damage on the tower, this pushing up here is not going to do good for them because Kinesis is actually getting good last hits and levels. Like, he's 7 and 5. Good last hits, actually, from Kinesis. He doesn't have the highest base damage, but it's pretty decent. And he's doing a good job up here.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be hitting level 4 here very, very quickly. In fact, with this next creep, I wouldn't be surprised if he steals a couple. Look what he's doing right there.
Yep.
He's lifting the Archer as well as the Ballista and just delaying the creep wave.
Yep.
So he's just trying to keep it pushed up, and that goes to show you the power potential of Kinesis in that suicide lane. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Witchslayer in a lot of trouble, and he will get comboed down. I was watching that for the most part, just commentating on it a little bit late. But as you can see, Witchslayer ran into some trouble, some good combination, yet again coming out from Pebbles and Engineer, and just didn't seem like Emperor could really do much there. Tempest was kind of running over, wasn't able to get there in time. He is going to have more of a pick up a double damage rune as it spawns at the bottom lane.
Yeah, he's just got to be more careful. That's all there is to it. This lane combination is so strong, and he's not really getting CS anyway, so there's really no reason to be up as far as he is. The burst potential is so high. And, I mean, that's all there is to it. He just needs to be more careful. You cannot keep feeding this lane. Pebbles getting free farm is the key to victory, honestly, for this Hellborn team, and he's off to a great start.
Yeah. Not only 1-0-1, but 27-8 creep farm. That is up there with Mage May, basically. He's, in fact, leading slightly with the 1 creep kill ahead. So Pebbles is the top farm of the game, 418 gold per minute. Looking very strong for TT Esports there, specifically being played by Moravius. You do look at the bigger picture, though, as Witchslayer is going to get jumped for here yet. Again, the Kexa comes out. There's a turret, and Witchslayer will fall. I mean, they dived him big time. I don't know if you can really blame Emperor for that. That was just a massive dive coming out from the two. Maybe it's because of the earlier kills were able to get to that point, but man, I mean, they just, again, Emperor just, he's sitting in the trees next to his tower. What more do you want from him, I guess?
Well, it's just a snowball effect.
Yeah.
That's all it is, and you get those couple deaths early on, it just makes it much worse. And so it's like, yeah, maybe a mistake the first time, a mistake the second time, and after that fact, it's like, yeah, there's nothing you could do, but it's because the mistakes made early on, and it's just unfortunate. He's going to have to find something to do, maybe get boots and just try to roam, because nothing is going to be happening in this middle lane. At this rate, Pebbles is going to get like an 8-minute portal key.
Yeah.
And that is not good. He's already got his bottle, 400 gold, and his steam boots. So let's try to look at some signs of life that's happening in the rest of the team. Tempest having a great farm, doing his thing. And that's one of the things that's strong with this lineup against, well, obviously they don't have a jungler on the Hellborn side. They have that Suicide Keeper, but they don't have a jungler, so their supports are not going to get as much farm as they should. Of course, with those actually two of those kills in the mid went to Engineer. So that's really, really good for him. I actually think that's better that the kills go on him than Pebbles. Just getting your supports farm, they really run the game for you. Some action here at the bottom. Engineer's going to take a couple stuns. There's the solo ultimate from Tempest. Are they going to have the burst damage to take him down? They really need to. I really agree with that whole.
Yeah.
You might think that was kind of wasted, but no, you have to use that, and you have to get kills where you can.
Yeah, my big concern was that Pebbles was actually going to get over there and turn it around even, but he wasn't able to get there in time, so definitely worth the kill right there by all means. So, yeah, very good job by Enzo timing that well, and, of course, Aluna being played by Fitzgay here, coming over for the assistance. And you're going over positive news, and yeah, so the middle lane isn't going well, but you're right. Tempest is having a great job. Angry Testio Magebane, he is getting free farm. He's farming 345 gold per minute right now. He's well on his way to, in fact, he can't finish his steam just yet, but he can purchase it very shortly here. Jeppins, again, he's doing a pretty solid job in Suicide Roll. His farm may not be the greatest, but he's level 5, and the lane constantly seems to be pushed up. He's level 6 now, so there are several positives here for the returner so far in what is game number 1, only 7 minutes in, with the returners taking on TT Esports.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a great job. You have to compare that also to Keeper of the Forest, but the way that Keeper has been so popular now that you just kind of have to almost expect that, because he's just so dominant in that suicide role right now, and it's really effective using that was it Nature's Veil to give that invis if you're getting ganked, and also it boosts your regen and your armor. It's just like an all-in-one ability, it seems. And he's just a strength, tanky strength hero. But yeah, Kinesis is doing a great job. He's utilizing that telekinetic control to get that creep wave back. And not to mention the unfortunate pull there by Magnus did give that a huge double wave, and that gave him a lot of free experience in farm. But the mid lane is really going to be the story here for TT Esports. Moravis playing that Pebbles. He's got a massive amount of farm, 1,300 gold on top of that Steam Boost and bottle. He's well on his way for a very early, probably pre-10-minute portal key.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing for you and me. I mean, it's great that Kinesis is doing a solid job in the suicide lane, but is he going to be as effective as, say, a Bubbles, doing this job? Is he going to be as effective as, say, the Keeper of the Forest for the Hellborn team in this case? So, and those are just questions, we don't really know, at least I don't really know the answers too much to, because, again, he's a fairly new hero still, especially on the competitive scene. In fact, really the times we've only seen him is by Jeppins, I think now twice. This will be the third time, actually. So, very little experience to kind of run with the hero as far as what we're working off of. But He's off to a solid start for playing this suicide role. We'll see how much of an impact he has. Witchler in the middle lane. Again, just nothing he could do right there. Pebbles came in with an invisible rune. He's sitting next to his tower. Pebbles chooses to dive it somewhat, and he just easily goes down. So that's the 4th death of the game already coming up for Emperor here on this Witchslayer. And the fact that Moravis is 2-0-2 as a result of it, 444 gold per minute, he is going to have a pre-minute 10 portal key. And we're going to start seeing some movement, I'm sure, as soon as he gets that.
It's going to be hard on Magebane. It's going to be hard. I mean, he can still give Magebane with one other. I mean, this isn't like a fast portal key on like a level 5 or level 6 Pebbles. He's got the levels. He's got the combo down. So he could actually probably give Magebane if his Steam Boots aren't on strength. He can easily give. He can give anybody. Really, he really can at this point if he gets his portal key right now, which he has in 1 creep kill. Isn't that scary? Not like a 9.5 minute portal key Steam Boots bottle.
Yeah, it's not like it's just straight portal key. Steam Boots and bottle on top of that. So, yeah, it's that is very, very, very scary here. I guess the only thankful thing is that they don't have an M4 on this Hellborn team, but still, it is very, very, very scary. So the returners, no doubt, falling in a gap as there you go, the purchase just happening right there. And the portal key is on the way. Now the question is, will Moravis look to use it right away? You know, you would think in this case that would make a lot of sense. You know, might as well take advantage of it at this early on. Meanwhile, at the top lane, Keeper of the Forest coming in with the counter on a Kinesis. Actually, Witchslayer is here, but nothing he's going to do. He kind of ran in for no reason as well at the last second, and Witchslayer will eventually fall. Magma's chasing, Silhouette the final auto attack, and Leon Black actually gets through with the kill. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Fitzgay also going down on a Luna. Pebbles, guess what? He gets the portal key, and he uses it right away for a kill. So all across the board right there, the returners just did not look too good. They also lose the top tower. And just like that, within a minute, the swing is just crazy in favor of TteS Esports all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, now Fitzka's going to have a ridiculously hard time. He doesn't have boots, and it's because of this Pebbles, and it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. Pebbles is going to find a free pickoff on him every single time he shows up on the map. It's a level 4 Aluna, no boots against the Pebbles, who's got almost 500 GPM. This is looking really, really horrible really early on.
Yeah, I thought that was the ultimate there from Kinesis, but no, that was just his W, actually taking Magnus to half-life right there. So, again, kind of shows you a little bit of that burst potential from the hero, but 10.5, really now 11 minutes into the game, we already have a 5,100 gold lead all of a sudden for TteS Esports, a 1,500 experience lead. It's getting very quickly to the point of here for the returners of, you know what, we just need to put all our eggs into the basket of Magebane because our surrounding team, it's just not happening right now. We just need to hope somehow that we can hold them off from base pushing and that he will just get enough farm to just becoming deadly and taking over the game. But the fact that they just already lost a secondary tower right there just after hitting 11 minutes, not going to really help that too much. So just all across the board now. In fact, Moravis on that Pebbles, 525 gold per minute already. He already has another 1,200 gold with the items that he has. They're just going to keep grouping up, and I think it's safe to say this is the correct thing from TteS Esports. Why not?
Why not? Yeah, they have lots of push. Keeper of the Forest also has, look, he's got 2k gold himself. Probably going to go for maybe, well, he could just go for an Astrolabe right here if he wanted to, but they don't really need to. They're just crushing without items at this point with just the item on Pebbles. Even Silhouette has joined the party in mid, and that's because they already had the 2 towers up top killed. Now they're getting another tier 2 in the mid, and the only thing they can respond with is Magebane pushing that up, but he can only push it up for so long. Magnus CP's in, and he's going to be able to farm this lane and push Magebane back just a little bit. One of the things I did want to mention, too, what I'd like to see, or what I think Magebane should have done in this bottom lane against Keeper is blink harass him with his auto attacks. Yes, of course, mana is essential on this Keeper of the Forest, and if he's able to burn that mana enough before even if he does invis, you could say, well, he could just invis and walk away. Well, he's still using that mana to invis away, so next time he pops out, he's probably going to have no mana.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I'd like to see a little bit more aggressive play. Of course, it's not. It really isn't his fault at all in this bottom lane. The fault is just getting this Pebbles too much farm.
Yeah, it definitely that seems like that has been the big deal here. So Angry Tessie though on Magebane, he's now at the top lane. You know, again, just doing his part at least, just trying to get as much farm as possible. He has enough money for 1 broadsword. So and again, his farm is actually pretty solid. 385 gold per minute. That actually isn't bad whatsoever. He will have a fairly efficient Rune Cleaver here if he can keep up the pace just a little bit longer. There's the one broadsword. Is that the second one?
I
No,
think
there's
it's
no
the
way.
first.
Okay, it's the first one, yeah. The first one's going to be delivered, so I might as well assist with some damage there. And then the second one on the way, of course, needs a 1,200 more gold for the bottom tower, though, in the meantime, with the top and the middle lanes completely cleared out already as far as the outside of the base goes. TteS Esports now going to work towards the bottom. Slick's the only one not here, really. He's kind of in his own jungle, just continuing to farm. But you got an Engineer kind of roaming around a little bit. But Keeper of the Forest, Magnus, and Pebble is going to push it. They're going to fall back, though, because in the middle lane, we do see a bit of a push coming out here from the returners. But I think TteS Esports, there's a chance they can react to this. And returners will need to be very, very careful if that is the case. So there goes the bottom tower. And, yeah, they're going to play very passive here at the middle lane. They're just going to fall back, realizing that's definitely a very likely potential. So good job by TteS Esports once again. I mean, they're just keeping control of this game here. Now that we have to a 10,000 goal lead, only hitting 14 minutes in now between these two teams. So looking very, very strong. Do you think that Rune Cleaver Mage Main could start making a difference here?
I'm sorry to say, but no. I mean, I would say if they maybe didn't have a Keeper of the Forest or a strong pushing team. And I wouldn't say they have a strong pushing team, but Keeper of the Forest does have the potential to push hard, and that's very clear. They've already done a lot of pushing. Jetpins does a lot of damage to that Magnus, just not enough, though. He will just Steam Bath and be fine, but that burst potential is huge on him, as you just saw. Just not quite enough. Magnus has picked up a little bit, some levels that he really shouldn't have, and if you look at him, it was a support Magnus, which I already don't like because they get no farm. He's already got Ghost Marchers, a power supply, or a mana battery, and 1,400 gold. He's well on his way to Blink. Of course, you have to attribute that to all the towers that have been killed, but that's got to be scary, too, if you're the returners. Not just his Pebbles, but now his Magnus, too, and a Nullstone's almost up on Silhouette. Not looking too good.
Well, that's the other thing. We really haven't been talking too much about Slicks on Silhouette, but he's out farming Mage Bane by quite a bit. I mean, obviously, I'm sure the tower is a big part of that by all means, but still, the numbers don't lie. I mean, he can go per minute. He's out farming Mage Bane right now, so even if you can get that Rune Cleaver, I mean, you're still dealing with the Silhouette that still is out farming you, and as you said, is getting very close here to already finishing that Nullstone. Just needs the pattern. As a team, we have the returners actually doing triple stacked agents, I believe. And so they're kind of clearing that out. Tempest and Witchslayer seems to be kind of sharing the farm a little bit. Witchslayer is now level 6, so they do have that silver bullet to use, actually, and that's going to be good. You talked about the top lane. Jetpins on Kinesis here. Yeah, he caught Magnus, but unfortunately he wasn't able to telekinetic control on top of the mass control. It was actually just the wait, telekinetic control over here. It says telekinetic lift down here in the bottom right. Anyways, he was only able to ultimate. He wasn't able to use his W, so not able to finish him off. You see Mage Bane is here at the bottom lane against Magnus. Magnus will fall back, though, and Mage Bane will clean up the creep wave. And if he doesn't get distracted here for the next minute or so, he will have that Rune Cleaver. So, again, some positive news there. But even with that said, you look around the jungle a little bit. There is a couple double-stacked creeps. At least there's one, so that's kind of working a little bit. But the Rune Cleaver will be great. Just seems like it's a little bit behind here. But at least action has slowed down somewhat, and I think that does help the returners a little bit at least.
Well, you would think so, but the golden experience lead is getting kind of out of hand and much larger for TteS Esports. And the thing is with Mage Bane is once you get that Rune Cleaver, he does have it, and it's a well-timed Rune Cleaver. It's about 16 minutes with the Steam Boots. And the only problem is actually action in mid. You see Magnus is going to be a lot of trouble. He actually disjoints.
Oh, no.
I think that was the ultimate that he disjointed with that stun.
Oh.
So good job by Leon Black right there. That's just got to be really
Well,
sad.
there was another big mistake right there. And the fact that, now again, this is kind of a newer hero, so still learning. But he was in the air with the stasis match. While an enemy or ally is in the air, they take 50% less damage. Witchslayer used the silver bullet on him while he was in the air. So he took 50% of his silver bullet damage, and so in a sense that saved him. So that was just clearly complete miscommunication there. Now, I believe I'm right on that. I mean, I'm reading the ability. I believe that is the case. So,
yes, it is.
And I think that's what I saw. So, yeah, that really is unfortunate. Just miscommunication coming out right there from the returner. So what should have been a free kill ended up being a getaway for Leon Black. He did make a good just right at the last second, though, mind you.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
That is too bad. They need every kill they can get, but yeah, one of the things that I'm talking about with Mage Bane, once you get those items, and actually a lot of elementals being farmed by Moravis, he's still at about almost 500 GPM, but when you have that Rune Cleaver, you're going to have to pretty much just play 4 versus 5, because he needs to just, he still can't farm. It's a farming tool. You use that to farm more. You don't use that and then go fight. It's not like Mage Bane when you build him like a Helm of the Black Legion. In fact, this game when they were getting, since they're getting crushed pretty much, they actually action bottom, just a very easy kill on a Jetpins with a blink from both Magmus. Now he does have it as support Magmus and that Engineer, and of course Moravis does get credit for the kill.
Yeah, that's that's what's going to start happening. As I say, TT Esports, they chose to kind of fall back a little bit and maybe farm their next tier of items, but now that they got that, I mean, they're going to start coming back at you, and we see right here just the power that's coming out of it as a result of that. They already have all 6 outer towers destroyed, and we are just now hitting 18.5 minutes. We see the first tower going down in favor of the returners, and it's denied on top of that, so just adding insult to injury, you could say. Now a 13.4 thousand gold lead, 6,300 experience lead. Yeah, you look all across the board in items. 3,000 gold saved up on Keeper of the Forest, 2,500 on Pebbles, another 1,500 on Silhouette. Engineer and Magmus both have portal keys along with the Pebbles. It's just ridiculous for this time in the game especially. Just see all these items across the board.
Codex on Keeper,
so.
let's go.
Yeah, right. He has enough for it. Straight up Codex. Come on.
He can buy Codex too if he splits his Ghost Marchers.
Good point. He might as well do that, right? Mage Bane, Angry Testes, level 12, 385 GPM, has that Rune Cleaver.
Blink on Engineer too.
I know, yeah, it's the 3 portal keys over there already. Wouldn't be surprised to see Silhouette pick up her own. She's saving up like it could be, so. Yeah, and hell, Keeper of the Forest. Why not get it on him? So all 5 heroes have potential to have a portal key over here on the Hellborn side. They're going to go for Conqueror here, by the way. Double damage Pebbles, that'll help with that. Here's the Conqueror skin, of course. Yeah, as a result of Halloween.
Sorry.
It's a Frankenstein. Conqueror-stein or something like that.
That's kind of cool.
Or what is it? Yeah, Franken-Conqueror. Oh, Franken-Conqueror, that makes sense.
Oh, there's a new Pebble skin, but I'm sad that Moravis is not using it with the Frankie skin. That's what it's called.
The Frankenstein, yeah.
Franken-Conqueror.
Franken-Conqueror. It actually says it in the text. That's hilarious.
Oh, wow.
It's too bad it doesn't say it in the voice pack. But anyways, he goes down, and why not add a token alive to their success, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty much going to have potential for 5 portal keys, and there's the portal key picked up on Keeper. It's kind of funny that he saved up all that gold and then just bought it now. And yep, there's the portal key on Silhouette. They have 5 portal keys on this team, and every hero really could use one. It's not like it's a troll pick.
Yeah, no, it's legitimate. Yeah.
Yep, and some signs of life. Portal key is almost picked up on Witch Slayer as well. So if they're looking for a pick-off, they can start with that. The Shrunken Head is going up first for Tempest. He's almost got it, about another, 800 gold or so. Jetpins is looking towards probably a push stick, but he's not able to get much after. He had a relatively good start, too. That's why I'm sad to see this game not turning out so well. So we couldn't see Jetpins', or I should say Kinesis' full potential. It looks like probably a first item Shrunken Head for a Mage Bane, but it's just going to be too hard. Shrunken Head means he's not going to farm as fast. He's not going to do as much damage. It's more of a survivability tool. I think in this game, because like I was trying to mention earlier, because it was just starting out so slow for them, I would have liked to see more of the Helm of the Black Legion approach. Normally I don't like seeing that, but this game in particular, I think that would have been a better suit, I think.
Yeah. Well, he is going the Mighty Blade into the possible Shrunken Head, as you talked about. Waitala's going to throw in a pause here, so hopefully nothing too long again, but just going to quickly take a break and resume the action shortly after, hopefully. We do see in the middle lane, TT Esports is somewhat grouping up here. You talked about it. All 5 heroes have portal keys, and I don't even think the Returners is aware of that yet. They probably, obviously they know Pebbles and Magmus and maybe even Engineer have it, but Keeper and Silhouette just recently bought theirs, so before they know it, they're just going to get mass jumped by the whole team, and that's going to be dangerous for them. Tempest is almost finishing, or he's trying to finish up his own Shrunken Head, but again, a case of, as we talk about, you still have a Keeper of the Forest over there that just doesn't care about that Shrunken Head. He can just root you out of the Tempest Ultimate and really screw you. And, of course, Riser has plenty of experience with that, so that's something that still Enzo will have to keep in mind if he's going to look to initiate once he eventually gets that Shrunken Head. Mind you, he doesn't even have a portal key himself. But speaking of portal key, you mentioned Witch Slayer. He's getting close. Will they be able to farm long enough, though, is the question here. And again, with TT Esports, with the pace they seem to be going at, very, very difficult to do so. We are going to resume here. Will they keep pushing? It looks like Slicks, or Moravis, excuse me, on Pebbles. He's going to keep going, as is the rest of the team. Slicks is going to be joining them on Silhouette eventually. He's running down now. And remember as well, he still has 5.5 minutes on that token alive. So here we go, possible mid-push here.
Yeah, and the thing about Slicks, too, is he's a great farmer. So it's not like you're going to really out-farm him at this pace. Even with the, Mage Bane with the flash ability and the Rune Cleaver. He's even got better farming tools. The Nullstone and the Portal Key actually helps him farm a lot faster. But they are grouped up here in the mid, and they're going to do a considerable amount of damage to this mid tower, especially with Tree, armoring up everybody. Yeah, let's check out how much armor actually Pebbles has with that. 21 armor. He's hitting for 200 max damage just about with those Spin Boots on screen. And this tower is probably going to die. Actually, the glyph comes out, so they may be looking to defend this just a little bit, of course. But I don't know for how long.
Well, you do see Angry Testy is pushing the bottom lane while this is happening. He did get the tower kill. You see the middle tower deny, but I mean he's pushing outer towers, and this is for the sake of losing his base tower. The Rax is now going to start dropping. So this is a very difficult decision time. He is going to start pointing back right here. So will we see that initiation? Which they're going to jump in on to keep it the force, but he put the invis up at the last second. They were not able to follow that up. Which there's a lot of trouble. Now he'll be comboed. There comes the eruption from Magnus. TteS is going to get comboed in as well. He had a shortcut head. Couldn't even use it though. There's the root from keeping the force. Kinesis dropping. He's trying to disperse as much as possible. It's not nearly enough. GG well plays are being called. Magic Paint is sitting in the back of like, yeah, what's the point? Down it goes the returners, and TteS Esports will take game number 1. Wow. I mean, that was a dominating game, to say the least, for TteS Esports going in there. I mean, obviously they picked somewhat of an aggressive lineup. That is, TteS Esports style typically. And they got off to a great start, specifically that Pebbles in the middle lane.
I know. And you can't look at Testy. I know there's so many Testy fanboys and so many Testy haters. It's all over. Yeah. You can't look at him and say it was his fault. It absolutely wasn't. I mean, there was nothing you could do in that situation. Even if he had a shrunken head, there's nothing Mage Paint can do. No. Absolutely nothing. It really came down to the fact Pebbles got massive farm, and they could not let that happen. I talked about it in so many different games where you see Pebbles picked, and then it's like they just kind of neglect him. No, you have to put your attention on the Pebbles, whether you're playing him, whether you're playing against him. That's really the focal point. That's why Pebbles is first picked so often, because he can take over games like that. And we saw it happen right here.
Yeah, well, we definitely did. I mean, we talked about it several times in that game. It's not to put blame on one person by any means. I mean, that's just sometimes, you have games like that. Like I always say, I'm a huge fan of Emperor in the first place. Love his play style. Love watching him as a player. But this game clearly wasn't one of his better games. I mean, I'm sure he would be the first. He's definitely that kind of guy. He'd be the first to admit it. So,
right. It could just be, I mean, the combination. We've seen Engineer put out a lot of burst damage, more so than you would expect, and maybe just wasn't used to that combination. And like I said, it's level 1. You're thinking, oh, it's level 1. They don't have that much burst, but that keg can disjoint you and put you in an awkward place in the lane. And maybe that's what happened, and he kind of maybe got blocked by creeps. And like I said, Pebbles is hitting for like 70 max damage at level 1. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to happen.
It can definitely suck. So that is going to do it for game number 1, though. The TteS Esports 4-0 record coming into this, looking very strong. One of the favorite teams in this whole event, let's be honest. And right now, they're definitely on their way to a solid series victory here, even. But will the returners? Will they have a statement to make here in game number 2? Will they force a comeback? We'll see. I'm all over the place, but stay tuned, guys. The returners versus TteS Esports game 2 coming up next.